Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. On day 57, less than 2 months after 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared in East Tennessee, public support seems to have withered for the girl's parents, Don and Candace. At yesterday's prayer vigil, it looks like only about 3 people turned up. That's besides Candace herself. Timmy was there along with Lisa Bowman, who drove through from Jonesboro, and I think it's Robin is difficult to make out, and possibly Robin's daughter. Now, I will put a link in the description to the news article as well as a link to Timmy Etherton's Facebook page. The vigil was only about 16 minutes long, not very much happening. Candace didn't say anything, Robin didn't say anything. In fact, what was quite interesting was the only person who did say something was this relative stranger from out of town, Lisa Bowman. Interestingly, Candace appeared to be sharing the service with Grandma on her phone. So, as I say, neither Candace nor Robin addressed the media, but the person who did was Lisa Bowman. I do want to address briefly what Lisa said, and if you want to hear what she said, just listen, watch the video and go into the description. But before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like, share, leave a comment, and let's get started. So, I just want to address what Lisa said, not so much pertinent to this case, not so much pertinent to the people in this case, but just generally, this idea of judging or not judging and that only God should judge. It's something that comes up very often. As someone who's been in true crime for a long time, I constantly hear that, and I want to address it because it is something that really emerges typically at the beginning of a new case, right? People are asked to wait and see. People are asked to butt out. People are told to have faith. Let the authorities and experts do their jobs. Let someone else handle this. Pay attention to something else, right? Don't judge this, kind of move on with your life. It'll be sorted out in the fullness of time. Well, I'm here to tell you, as someone who has fought for justice in numerous cases, attended trials, sat in court, and watched injustice take hold, that true justice requires stamina and the price of our paying attention. It's in the loosey-goosey, warm and fuzziness that criminals flourish, because they're not confronted, because they're not held accountable, properly held accountable, and they prey on our naivete and take advantage of our good hearts. In the Barry Morphew case, by the way, which is playing out right now, after a year of what felt like nothing happening and Suzanne not being found, someone is judging that case right now. Prosecutors are prosecuting it. A judge will have to listen to the evidence and decide. So it's not only God who judges in this world. Our good judgment is being tested constantly. God also gave us the free will to decide whether something is good or ill. And it's important that we use our minds, that we use those gifts, right? We use our discernment. We need to think about what news or information is credible and reliable. What do we do in an uncertain world where there's a pandemic and a vaccine? Good judgment, and I prefer the term discernment, is something we need to apply constantly, and we do get better with practice. When you go shopping, you decide which fruit you're going to buy. You pick it up and you feel it. Is this one ripe enough? Is this good fruit, right? And we also need to judge the people around us, not in terms of being biased towards them and stereotyping them, but being a good judge of character. That's well known, and good bosses are good judges of character. There's nothing wrong with that kind of thing. Of course, to be in judgment of people, that is what we don't want to be. But this is not what we're talking about. In a missing persons case, like before charges are brought, and charges will be brought, of that I can assure you. But in a missing persons case like this one, proper YouTube channels and investigators, what they're doing is educating themselves impartially on all the evidence and on all the statements. They're trying to find out what is going on, and all of that matters. That takes time. That's a process. It's important that people take notice of a case like this, that they care about a case like this, but we can also care beyond prayer. We can be informed, properly informed, and that's necessary along with having faith and believing that good will triumph over evil and light over darkness. Just believing in that is great, but it's even better if you believe in that and you arm yourself with information. And, there's a saying in the Bible from Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, "My people perish for lack of knowledge," right? The extended version of that goes, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will reject thee. That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." And I think part of where that verse comes from is from this idea of people forgetting the law of God, but also the law. And it's important to know, what is right and wrong, and who is breaking the law, who is not telling the truth. It's important to be discerning about that sort of thing. In any event, I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about that. Hopefully the comments will be enabled, and then you can share what you feel. I will be doing a follow-up video to this, again, keeping the focus on summer and looking into a very troubling aspect. In the previous video, we looked into DV, and in the next video, we'll be looking into fetal alcohol syndrome, and that is a condition where it results from a child's exposure to alcohol when their mother is pregnant, and it can actually cause brain damage and growth problems. It varies from child to child, but it does lead to certain kind of defects which are not reversible. So we're going to go into that in more detail in the next episode. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.